Having the right software can make or break your business. And so it becomes very essential to know how to get it, where to get it, especially if you're in a situation which isolates you, such as my situation. I'm in China. So it's very difficult for me to get the software that I need without the help of something called a torrent. And that is essentially file sharing, peer-to-peer. Obviously, it happens online, and in this video I'm very quickly just going to show you how to use that resource for yourself. It all starts with having a client or a program that will allow you to connect with other people that are sharing programs. So, with all good searches, we start with Google to find what we're looking for. And the program we're going to search for is called Torrent. And one of the best things about it is what it does, followed by the fact that it's completely free. So let's download. Grab your file, save it, and then run it. I already have it installed on my computer. So I'm just going to demonstrate how it looks. This program, uTorrent or bittorrent, has a pretty simple interface. After you've installed your bittorrent program or client, in order to begin downloading, you first got to go to a website called a torrent tracker. The torrent tracker I like to use is called torrents.eu. And this is pretty much the Google of software pirates. Search for anything that's popular with the digital crowd and you'll find a torrent for it. I'm going to search for an old video, this in the public domain, called Reefer Madness. It's important to note that the different torrent trackers that exist tend to get their money from advertising, and so there's a lot of stuff you'll have to learn to ignore, such as links for full downloads or high-speed downloads, direct downloads. Ignore that stuff. That's actually sponsored material. Whenever you look at the results of a search, one of the most important indicators of the quality of something is the number of people who are sharing it, which you can see here. Once you get involved with torrents, it's important to take note that there is a lot of viruses that you will find on programs that you download through peer-to-peer networks. So it is very advisable to get some antivirus programs such as Avast, If you search for AVG or Avast and just Google for that, you'll find a good free to use program that is pretty effective at knocking out viruses. And then after you have that installed, before you run anything that might be a little suspicious, do a virus check, a scan first. All right. The website that I just used is itself actually not a torrent tracker. It searches many other torrent trackers, and here they are. And that's quite useful because not all torrent trackers are the same. Sometimes one will work for you, whereas others won't. And so if I'm grabbing a torrent, I will usually visit between 3 to 4 torrent trackers. And usually this is about a 1 in 3 chance that you'll successfully get the torrent file that you need. A lot of them are easily or quickly removed. We'll open our link in a new window and take a look. And remember what I said previously about avoiding the links for direct downloads or fast downloads. All we want to get is the torrent file. And in a moment, I'll show you exactly what we're looking for when we navigate these sites. We'll just open up a couple of these. Be advised, a lot of these websites will have advertisements which are not safe for work. So you might end up showing a naked lady on your screen. Here's an example of what to avoid. This link right here. All we want is the torrent file, which I think will be this link. If anything asks you to sign up, then just hit your back button. Alright, so when you download a torrent from a torrent tracker, what you're actually doing is downloading a file that has the extension .torrent file, obviously. And your torrent program will read that file, and then after doing so, it'll have the information it needs to begin your download. So just save and then open that up with your torrent program. Download via Usenet. That is not the link we want. Download via torrent. That one we do. Some torrent trackers verify all of their material that they make available. Others do not. Also, some of them will allow you to see the files that are included in a torrent, as well as a description of the torrent itself. Also, some of them will feature comments from the users, and it's important to read the comments because some people will report if a torrent is fake or if it had a virus in it. So look for people saying happy things. If you come across a torrent which is bad, then do a good thing for the community and notify the torrent tracker. They all have staff or administration that is always looking for reports. They don't want to feature content that's going to hurt anyone. So if you report something, they'll have it removed. You'll see people talking about seeds and peers. Seeds is people that have downloaded something completely and they're now sharing it with others. The more people that share a file, the faster you will be able to download from all these different sources at the same time and assemble that file on your computer. So that's an indicator of your download speed. Fast direct download, that's not what we want. Download torrent, that we do. Okay, so that gives you some examples of how to navigate these sites and some details about what's useful at them. And so here I have my file. If your torrent tracker is not properly configured, it might not be grabbing files automatically for you. So what you can do is just go to where you downloaded the .torrent and then bring that over and drop it. Drop it inside the window for your torrent client and it'll pick up your file and start downloading. Next, let's talk a little bit about how to use this program. Here we have our file, and we can see the download speed. We're pulling this at about 190 kilobits a second, and this is my connection speed from China, which is pretty impressive. We also have a progress indicator. It's important to note that if your torrent software is not properly configured, it can really hog resources on your network. For one, it can hog a lot of bandwidth. So you don't want to, for example, bring down your Office network because you're pulling too much information. Other people are no longer able to browse the internet or get their downloads at a good speed. So what you can do is go to Options, Preferences, and then click on Bandwidth. And from here you can begin to establish some limits. And it's important not only to limit the maximum number of the maximum amount of bandwidth that you're going to use, but also the maximum number of connections down here. For your number of connections, this should ideally be about 50 or lower if you want to make sure that you're not causing any network issues for other users. If you're at home and you don't have to share it with anyone, then don't worry about setting your global max too high. As long as your other internet connected programs still work fine, like email, browsing, then you're fine. But if suddenly you realize that your other programs are no longer functioning because there's just no connections left available, then put a limit on this, maybe 100, 200, find out what works for you. Depending on your internet provider, you will have a maximum number of connections which are available for you to make. At work, I keep my global download limit at 200, which is still using a lot. Maximum connections, I keep that at 60, so not causing any network problems for other people. If you set any of these at 0 here or here, then that will cause your torrent application to be unlimited. So it'll just go as fast as it can. With peer-to-peer file sharing, you are connecting with other people, and of course when you're doing that you want to be polite to others. So as long as it's not causing any issues for yourself or for people in your immediate surrounding, be generous with your maximum upload rate. The BitTorrent application also has a scheduler, which can be very useful for making sure that you're able to control your speeds and adjust things in a way that is polite for others. For example, you can set up your scheduler to not work during the day, so that perhaps if you're at an office, BitTorrent won't be uploading and downloading. It doesn't affect any other users. And then at night it goes at full speed. That's how I've set mine up here. Under a fresh installation, you will want to take a look at the directories that you're using so that you know what folders to look in to find your torrents. Another thing that's nice to do for the other users in the community is, after you've downloaded a file that you needed, don't immediately remove that from being accessible to your torrent application. Keep that file on your computer for a while because you're sharing with others, and this program will let you see what your ratio is. How much have you downloaded as opposed to uploaded? The longer you have a file on your computer, of course, the more you will be sharing it. And a lot of people recommend letting your ratio hit at least 1-to-1 or even 2-to-1, so that you're sharing more than you're taking. Also, there are some safety concerns when it comes to being prosecuted for the act of downloading something which is copyrighted. And if you're concerned about that, then what you should do is always use a VPN, a virtual private network connection. I have a separate video that talks about what a VPN is. It costs about $15 or $20 a month, and it essentially is a service which you connect to, and it proxies your internet connection so that other people are unable to find out who you actually are when you're downloading a torrent. To take a closer look at the interface, we're just going to click on our active torrent and then go down and look at the bottom part of the window here. This is resizable. And this allows me to take a look at my peers as well as anyone that's downloading. See some details about the torrent. Most of this is pretty much useless information, but one thing that is useful is under the Files tab. And what I can do here is decide if there's certain files I'm really not interested in downloading. I can just highlight those, right-click, and then say don't download. And then my priority shows skip over here. If there's a certain file that I want right now, I can set that to high priority. And one scenario where that might be useful would be if you just want to get a single song out of a discography. Discography. That's a hard word to pronounce. Discography. The program allows me to see what I've already downloaded and keeps that separate from what I currently have set as files to become downloaded. So between these two lists, I am able to see what's available on my computer for my own use, and then also see what's becoming available, and I can interact with this. For example, I no longer need a torrent. I'm going to right-click on a file, and then I can either choose to just remove it from the torrent tracker, or I can do both, of removing it from the tracker and deleting the program or the file data itself, which I'm going to do right here. So this will completely take it off of my computer. That's it. That's all you need to know to get started. Obviously, there's a little bit more to using programs like this, but for just a simple basic introduction, help you be able to get what you need, your needs have been met.